Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I have got a super exciting video today. I needed to jump on here straight away and get this up for you as quick as possible because we are talking about one of the biggest, most anticipated launches of the year, and definitely one that I have been so excited for. Oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. I'm so excited. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. This is the Makeup by Mario Ethereal Eyes Nature Palette. These are limited edition eyeshadow palettes he comes out with every year. And this color story is inspired by all of the beautiful tones in nature. This is my most perfect color story I've almost ever seen in a formula that I know and love. I love Makeup by Mario's brand. Like, if I could design my own palette, it would look very similar to this. I will say I am a little nervous because I have heard some mixed reviews online, and I just wanted to get this review up for you as quick as possible. So we're going to go ahead and play around with a couple of the colors today, see how everything blends out. I'll get into the swatches. We'll even do a comparison with the other palette that I have with his old formulation, because my anticipation is that he did reformulate this a little bit. So we'll get into all that goodies. Without further ado, let's get on into it. I am so excited to play with this. I have always been an eyeshadow person. I have always been a color cosmetics person, so eyes, lips, and cheeks are my favorite things to enhance. I just love anything that glitters, sparkles, shines, has a beautiful color. So I am so excited to play with this. So for the first look, I'm going to take just a little bit of this neutral shade here and a dab of this pink. I have primed my eyes with the Morphe eyeshadow primer. This is just in this really neutral, almost like my skin color. And so that's all I have on the lids right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and start to do this in the crease. Do the same on the other eye. So I will say I'm using a tackier base than normal, but I'm not even getting much kickback in the pan itself. And these mattes are certainly there, but they're not crazy pigmented. Like, as you can see, this is very natural. I still have some depth and dimension to my eye, but it doesn't actually look like I have like a huge brown eyeshadow on. I actually really like how professional that looks, because it's just enough to make a difference, but you don't look like you have a ton of eyeshadow on. And actually, I'm mixing the two colors in one that is especially sort of it almost looks like a neutral mauve, but it's actually more of like a true mauvey taupe, which I'm not mad at. Yeah, that blended out really beautifully. It's definitely there, but it doesn't look like actually really heavy eyeshadow. It's so not patchy. I can't even believe how smooth this is. So far, I'm really impressed. I'm not having any issues whatsoever, even ones that I normally do that I just take into account for because my eyelids just have certain places they like to patch. So I think I'm going to do two different looks on each eye so we can play with as many colors as possible. So let's do this eye first and go into a couple of the neutrals. I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of this beautiful like camel color down here, and I'm going to take it on a smaller fluffy brush. I'm barely getting any kickback in these, which is really nice, but possibly a little bit of a different formula because, again, the other ones were really dusty. And I'm just going to pack this in the outer corner up to the upper V. Yeah. Do you see how immediately that almost looks like it blends itself? Gosh, that's really pretty. And I'm just going to take this a little bit on the lower lash line just to give this eye a little bit of warmth. Yeah, the colors are really blending themselves, which is what I expect from a high-end palette. Now, the moment we've all been waiting for, I'm going to dip into some of these shimmering shades. So I think I'm going to go in the outer corner with a little bit of this almost like a taupey brown that has like a green shift. I usually apply shimmers with my finger because I really like a lot of impact. This is what it swatches like. It's a really pretty swatch, but they feel very thin, and honestly, they feel really dry, but I'm gonna be real with you, that's kind of what my Moonlight palette feels like. So I'm going to pat this on the outer side of my eye. My cat also wants in on this look. Okay, that is a really pretty color. It is very nice, and I'm kind of on purpose applying it very messily, very ethereally, because these shimmers are so fine. Okay, actually, that's really pretty. That's really pretty. It's not intense. It's not this like super thick base pigment creamy eyeshadow, but the effect I think is what he's going for in this palette. I'm getting the feeling that it's very professionally touched, whereas I tend to like a lot of, I'm going to say more fun things. You know how like a beautiful blonde haired person would be something really classic, something really old school money, and pink hair is just going to be a ton of fun. It's not exactly classic beauty. I love both looks. If I could pull off pink hair, I would do it in a heartbeat. But it's just two different styles. And I think he's going for a really sophisticated glitter here that's not so loud and intense in your face. And I actually really like that because I haven't met a glitter yet that I don't like, especially with intensity. So for me to actually have an option that I can tone down a little bit, this makes it a lot more wearable and a lot classier. I really like that. Let's keep going. So I think we're going to have to play with this beautiful green shade and put this all over the inner part of the lid as well. So I'm going to take this here, and this is what that swatch is like. It is stunning. I already know I love this color so much. The tones in this specific color are so beautiful. Wow. Oh my gosh. Ah, that is so stunning. I think this is the most wearable green I've almost ever encountered because I wouldn't feel ridiculous wearing this out. Now, I wear stuff out that's crazy all the time, but if you really were looking to spice up a little bit of your makeup look and maybe do something a little bit more fun than just browns, this is beautiful. And this is such an amazing, beautiful tone that's going to look good on really pale, cool tone skin. And oh my gosh, if you've got a deeper complexion, girl, you are going to look so beautiful in this color. And then I'm going to do something a little different for the inner corner. I'm going to pick this up on a brush and I'm going to take a little bit of this sort of like creamy, almost like a butter kind of custard yellow color. I will say these shades pick up really well on a brush. And I'm just going to place that in the inner part of the eye. It's not a bad thing, but I think the two green colors kind of melded together and blended into each other. And I do want a little bit more of a gradient effect. So I'm going to go back in with a little bit of the deeper tone here and see if I can just build up that outer corner again. This is your sign to get out of your comfort zone because that's not my usual vibe, but the subtleness of this is, and it's not that it's not there, but it's not blinding like we would usually say, and I'm so into that right now actually. I feel so pretty, and I was so nervous. I really wasn't going to like that. Okay. Let's go and finish up with a quick liner. I'm just taking the darkest shade in the palette, this really rich chocolate brown, and just going to stamp a little bit of eyeliner on that. Okay, normally a look like this would be really great with falsies, but this is the first green inspired look. I kept it intentionally a little messier, a little bit more sort of scattered glitter, fashion forward, and less cut creasy. You know, I am one who's so into a blinding highlight, but this custard shade in here is really surprising me with how much I really like it. It brightens up my eye, even though it's really not as intense as something I'm used to. So far, no complaints. That went on so beautifully. Now let's try a few more of the other colors on the other side. So for the other side, I'm going to play with some of these golds and the burgundy. So I'm going to first go in with the burgundy on the outer corner as well. This I think is the one metallic in the palette, and it swatches like this. It's a really deep, like almost purple rust color. And I'm just going to pack that on the outer corner. Wow. Oh my goodness. That's so gorgeous. Again, I'm like so happy. I love this so much because this is not my style. And I love finding something that is new. That's kind of why I love doing this. So, I'm so happy. Okay. I think I'm going to take this shade right here, the one that's right next to the burgundy. Now, also, these shades don't have any names to them, which is great because I don't like remembering names. This one is not bad. It's a little lackluster. I'm not gonna lie to you. That one's okay. It's pretty. What's really interesting is, and again, this could be a good thing, this could be a bad thing for you, but the colors are transitioning into each other, which I'm actually going to say what I really would like is for them to sort of keep their pigment where they are, where I've placed them. So once you kind of blend another one on top of it, it does kind of disappear into the other color, but it's not terrible. Okay. This is looking like a really beautiful bronze smoky eye. Now, this one right here next to the green looks really, really lovely. This is like a beautiful rose gold sort of champagne glitter color. And I'm just going to place that in the inner corner here. Yeah, that's very nice. And again, I have the rest of my face done, so I'm really experiencing nearly zero fallout. There is nearly zero kickback in this pan as well. So I've achieved some really glittery, beautiful eyeshadow looks with minimal kickback and only maybe one or two flakes on my face, which I've powdered so I can just wipe away straight away. Okay, what I'm going to do to complete both eye looks really quickly, I'm just going to take a little bit of this brown here and a tiny bit of the darker and just run it under my under lash line super quickly. And then same thing on the burgundy side, I'm going to take the darker one here and I'm just going to create a quick stamped shadow line. All right, and then we only have one more shade left to test out, and then we have actually tested out all of them. I'm gonna use this shade right here. It is like a beautiful cream, almost taupe cream based matte, and then it has like separated particles of glitter in it. And I'm just going to use this as my brow bone highlight really quickly. Again, not too much color payoff, but it gives a little something something. Okay, let me pop on some extra mascara and I will be back with the swatches. Okay, y'all, I threw on some extra mascara and just completed my inner corners with a little bit of liner to complete this look. Oh my gosh, I feel really pretty in both of these looks. And I'm going to be so for real with you. I came into this video with the reviews thinking that I was going to return this palette. Like I thought I was going to return this palette and I was so nervous, but that's why I really wanted to get this review up as fast as possible. And I have to say it exceeded my expectations so much. I love that these shimmers are still there. You will still look like you have such a beautiful, sophisticated, glittery eye look going on, but they're not going to be chunky glittery. And that's kind of what I think ethereal means. I also think the nature palette, he was going for something that was a little more toned down. And that may be up your alley. I heard that a lot of the reviews were saying that some of his original palettes were so glittery that they were a little bit like unworkable or they felt like they couldn't wear them every day. And it's a lot of money to invest in a palette that you're not going to use all that often. So let's get into some of the swatches really quickly and the details of the palette, and then I will wrap it up with my final thoughts. So this is the first shade we have in the palette. It's a really almost perfectly my skin tone, but with a little bit of glitter shifts in it. Then we have sort of this butter yellow custard. Then we have a really shimmery taupey green. And the first matte is again a really buttery yellow. It's almost like a taupey butter yellow. Then we have a very neutral, cool toned mauve. We have a rose gold shimmer. We have a beautiful forest green. We have a fawn brown. We have a matte caramel brown, a shimmering deep bronze, a metallic burgundy, and a deep chocolate brown. So I also thought I would quickly compare the swatches to my original last year's Moonlight palette. So this one I've been loving all year. This is a testament to how good Mario is because I am rarely a cool toned person. I don't really love cool tones, and ever since it came out, I've been wanting to dive in more into them. I loved the looks that I've been able to create with this. The shimmers in here are honestly really stunning. So if you're looking for a comparison, I thought I would do a quick couple of pops of these shimmers for you next to these swatches of the nature palette because the mattes pretty much perform the same. These ones have a little bit more kickback in them, just a tad, but they're pretty much the exact same as far as performance. So if you're wondering why everyone is saying that his other palettes, they think he may have changed the formula a bit, I think because these three here are the formula in the new Nature palette. And these over here are his older formula from the Moonlight palette. You can see there is a bit of a difference with how absolutely gorgeously metallic these are. They really are really stunning and definitely give a bigger impact. These are really beautiful in their own right, but they have a little bit more, like I said, of a sophisticated, subtle shimmer. They still are really beautiful, but look at this shimmer compared to this one. I mean, this is still from the Nature palette, if you can even see that shimmer right there. And these are all from the Moonlight palette. So Mario's new Nature palette is said to have 4 different finishes in it. Mattes, he's got suede mattes, suede shimmers. He's got a few wet glimmery shimmers, and then he's got metallics in here. So there are a lot of different ones, and he says that each shade is meant to go on sheer to buildable. And I think that that is a very telltale sign of what he really intended with this palette. So they're not going to be as intense as some of his other ones, but that's really intentional from him. And he might have been trying to go for a little more versatility in his palette as well. So I just think that that is something to note, because that, I think, is what everybody is really wondering about, because the color story, I think, is beautiful. I think it appeals to a lot of people. I have no notes on the color story. I think it is so gorgeous. I really don't have any complaints about the way the eyeshadows performed. I would say that my least favorite is probably this bronzy gold down here, but we were able to use every single shade in this palette today really easily. I didn't have to think like, I wonder how I'm going to use that shade, or I have to think of a really specific eye look for that shade. So I was able to use every single one, and each one serves a really, really good purpose, which is a telltale sign of a really, really good artist. And he certainly knows his stuff. And I think this is stunning. So I've heard a lot of people are going to really prefer that his shimmers are a lot more wearable, but it doesn't mean that you still don't have such a beautiful eye that is really going to catch someone's interest and make you feel beautiful, most importantly. I haven't used it enough to say I would recommend it, but upon first impression, I love it. I love it. And I'm so happy that I do. So that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, please stick around to subscribe. I would love to have you in my cozy corner of the internet, where we love to live life more beautifully every day. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.